What's up, Clay County? Today we're on the campus of Fleming Island High School for the Clay County Coach of the Month, presented by our good friends, Chick-fil-A of Middleburg. We certainly want to thank Joe and Tabitha Mayo for allowing us to recognize all these amazing coaches, not just today here at Fleming Island High School, but throughout the whole year. All right, Clay County, today we're being joined by head flag football coach, Mr. Clint Lyons. Clint, congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
On being selected as the Clay County March Coach of the Month.
Yep.
Man, I'm looking at you guys' success and flag and the things that you're involved with. Awesome, by the way. Awesome being involved in so many things here on the campus of Fleming Island High School. Let's talk a little bit about the flag football, and let's start out with this season. I see you guys were 11-0 this year, district champs. Talk a little bit about your team and maybe a couple of key players.
The team's doing really well. You know, the big thing is it always starts with defense, and that's what's kind of helped us be a good program is we got girls ready to fill in. And if you can hold teams to around 6 to 12 points a game, you're always going to have a chance.
Right.
And then, we got some elite players like London Jenkins defensively and offensively. I mean, she's one of the elite players in the state of Florida. And then Gabby Musa, who's our linebacker, really been our linchpin for 3 years, approaching 100 flag pulls in the season. So she's an elite defensive player, so that always helps.
It's funny to me. We talk about 11-0, and you went to and you started talking, but you got to defense fast, like we're gonna line up, we're gonna run to the ball, we're gonna pull flags,
run the ball, have a clue of what we're doing, know the base. We always start. You've been around football.
Yeah.
There's certain plays that every team runs. Week one, I'm working on saying it. Most teams, you're gonna see some basic concepts like this. So I think it gives us a chance. And some girls are more role players than others, but at least they know what to do on defense, and it gives us a good base.
Yeah, and I hear you talking about concepts and those things. We're going to get to talking about you as a teacher here on this campus, but that's important. Teaching those things, not just coaching those things. All right, Coach. I also see here 44 wins since 2022. State runners up last year, 2 Final Four appearances. How has your program sustained so much success?
Well, it starts, like I said, we always have girls ready to go, but we've had some pretty elite players the past few years. I mean, you're not, at quarterback from last year, and our quarterback this year doing a solid job, and then London Jenkins coming in at receiver and athlete. So we got really good players, and then we've added a few what I call elite players. That's how you get that far.
Yeah, I remember all the way back to even Burke playing for you guys, and just so many kids, and just simply doing the little things, lining up and running to the ball and not giving up any big plays.
Yeah.
Just it seems like when you come and played Fleming Island in flag football, you knew you were in for a heck of a game, and you were going to have to win it because they weren't going to lose it.
Yeah, that's what we try to do.
Now, one of the coolest things I get to see though the last couple of years is this gentleman that happens to be on your sidelines during games and maybe doing the box, your dad. Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He really enjoys it. He's been retired about 5 years now, and he did media. He did sports media, so he's been around sports. He loves sports. That's why I love sports. Right. And he does the down box, and he keeps the stats. It's easier to keep stats on the road because he doesn't have to worry about it. Sometimes I have to yell at him at home because he's trying to write down things, and the refs are yelling at him to switch the down.
Don't yell at him too much.
Yeah. But he does a pretty good job.
It was cool for me at that state championship game last year. I looked down and peeked down and seen you and your dad, and you were walking the sideline. I was like, man, what a cool moment to be able to play for a state title and have your dad beside you. This has got to be really cool.
Yeah, it was very, very cool to make it that far.
Absolutely.
And here's another fun fact. He lives right by me. Like, literally, he could have walked over.
Right.
So how cool is that?
The host of the state championship.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, look, you're clearly getting it done. We could talk about you being the Jaguars Coach of the Week. We could talk about 122-18 record overall. Like, there's so many things that you guys are having success on in flag football on the campus of Fleming Island and things that you're involved with. So, but flag football is not it. You're also involved in a few other things. So let's do this. Let's go talk about that. Come on. Clay County, we are back on the campus of Fleming Island High School with Coach Lyons, the March Clay County Coach of the Month, again presented by Chick-fil-A of Middleburg. All right, Coach Lyons, we talked about flag football and all the success that you guys are having, but you guys are having success in the community, and you personally are having success in your classroom as a teacher. Let's talk about a few of those things. One of the things I know, at least to me anyways, servant leadership is a core value of mine. It's extremely important. And Fleming Island does an amazing job when it comes to, I know there's a food drive coming up, and just doing different activities and events to give back to the community. One of the cool things, though, is the athletes going down and reading at the local elementaries. And I see the flag football program as a part of that. Tell me a little bit about why it's so important to provide these student athletes with servant leadership opportunities.
Well, it's a very important thing for them to get out there, step outside their comfort zone maybe a little bit, reading to little kids. It kind of was started by the football team, and some of our flag football girls piggybacked on with them to go down there. And you know how it is, little kids. I got a 4-year-old. He loves seeing big kids. Like, he thinks it's the coolest thing. So I'm sure those kids absolutely love it. And it's a good thing for our school, and it's a good thing for those kids to do.
That's exactly right. I say this all the time. You know, I can tell that kid that you're a leader, and they're like, Coach, I barely play. Yeah, but when you go down there and you put that jersey on, and you stand in front of those 5-year-olds, and you start reading that book, they see you as a leader. They see you as a role model. Yeah. And I think that kind of resonates with them. You know, and then always when we get a chance or opportunity to give back to the community, it's extremely important. Because they're always giving to us. So, you know, great job by you guys, by the whole. It sounds like the football program started it, and then a great job by everybody seeing a good thing and getting on board. Hey, let's switch gears here and let's talk about you as a teacher. Now, I know if you're going to have success as a football program or baseball, whatever, good coaches are great teachers. There may be a disconnect there between those two realms, but we all know that, like, you're not having success without being a great teacher. And my understanding is clearly you're a great teacher. And part of that is a part of the AP program. Tell me a little bit about the AP program here, Fleming.
So I teach AP World History, and it's kind of a big idea course, you know, and I kind of relate it to coaching. Like, we're getting ready for the AP test here pretty soon. You know, there's certain things you know they're always going to ask about. It's like preparing for a team. You know there's 5 main plays a team. Don't get beat on those plays. If they throw some crazy question at you, you don't know, fine. But if you know, and I'm telling you these things are always on the test, and you get beat on that, that's shame on you.
Right.
So it's the same kind of premise. And, you know, from flag football, a little different than boys. You might have all of a day.
That's right.
You play a game, you got 1 day to practice, you go play the next.
That's right.
You got to pick 5 or 6 things that the other team does well and try to get ready to stop those. And if they beat you with something off the wall, then I guess you just tip your hat. But it's kind of the same premise, trying to get them to focus on the main things and be ready to go.
I love that analogy, because I think about me on Sundays breaking out film, and I got like, all right, their top 5 runs, their top 5 passes, every motion they do. All right, we're focusing on these things. We know they may do a bunch of other stuff, but they're, as you stated, they're not beating us with this, right? Yeah. And so I'm guessing that sounds like the same approach you're taking to that class, and I guess passing that exam at the end of the year is what it sounds like. Yeah,
it's the same kind of premise, right? You got to focus on the main things. There's always, on an AP test, there's always going to be a few off-the-wall questions, like some crazy trick play. Right. It's the same premise, but don't get beat on the stuff you know they're going to ask about.
Absolutely. Coach, why teach AP, though? How did you get into that, or why teach AP?
I started doing it at Ed White in 2008, and I just the test idea of it, you know, it's kind of like a little more competitive than just teaching a regular class, you know, and some years have been better than others as a group with a pass rate, but there is that sense of like getting ready for a game, so it kind of appeals to the coaching because it's kind of like the final product, you know.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Well, listen, Coach, clearly you guys are having tremendous success in flag football program. All right, and servant leadership, giving back to our community. You're crushing it in the classroom, being not just a leader on the field, but being a leader in the classroom. Appreciate you for that. All right, let's do this. Let's go make this thing official. Come on, Coach. All right. Clay County, we are back here on the campus of Fleming Island High School to make Coach Lyons the official Coach of the Month. Again, we want to thank Chick-fil-A of Middleburg for allowing us to recognize all these amazing coaches. Before we get started, we're being joined by some amazing individuals here. We make sure we want to recognize these people. So, Mr. Cunningham, Athletic Director. Mr. Pittman, the principal here at Fleming Island High School. We certainly want to thank these gentlemen for all the things that they do, not just for student athletes, but for students on the campus of Fleming Island High School. And also, we're being joined by Ms. Holly, representing Chick-fil-A. Thank you so much, Ms. Holly. Clint, congratulations on being selected as the Clay County Coach of the Month.
Appreciate it.